And Lisa, I've got to ask you about the massive gains. We saw that in race number 4 with Denmark picking it up. Is that just luck of the draw, or can you anticipate those massive gains and where they might be coming from your reporting?
You can certainly anticipate it, especially at that first turning gate, because you're away from the shore and you can see it coming. So it really is like a conveyor belt. If you get on that, it can shoot you up the course. So big rewards out here for the teams that are getting it right.
All right, thank you very much, Lisa. Down on the water, we'll come back to you in a moment as the race gets started in 1:10. And there you see, that is the battle. Top 3 moving on to the event final. Australia on a tie with Spain, but Australia would lose out on the tiebreakers as it stands right now. So 10 points for a win, 1 point for last place. And now everyone, Stevie, into the start box. And this is the most critical race so far. They're all critical, but this is the one.
Denmark have been sailing well, and Spain look well lined up for a good start here. It's now about timing and how fast can you hit the line. Here go Canada, they turn the boat aggressively. Phil Robertson spinning the boat around on the Canadian boat here as they look to come in fast at the line. USA look a bit late to me, but he's coming with a late run. Can the USA time this right? 5 seconds to go to the start. Denmark and Australia out the middle of the line. Emirates, Great Britain are back. It's now a fast sprint here. What timing from Jimmy Spittle on board USA, but can he hang on? He's got a slower angle to mark 1 for here. It's just straight line, sailing across the breeze, and Rockwell Denmark, there they go. They speed her up, and they're looking to roll over the top.
Here we go, mark number 1, the final fleet race of the day, and it is Denmark that holds on to that pole position. The USA tucks into second place with Australia off the right.
USA pull it out when they need to. Australia crucially are ahead of Spain, but at the moment Emirates Great Britain's got some work to do. They're in the pack. These points are going to be tight, so the next few manoeuvres into gate 2 are crucial as Denmark, they've stretched away and they set things up nicely. First to turn towards gate 2, and we know the crews are going to want to try and simplify this and get themselves straight round with a left turn.
Only going to get more breeze. Happy with left turn. Happy.
So nice that the breeze and Mother Nature cooperated today. A penalty, it looks like a boundary penalty for Australia. That could be huge. They'll have to drop back just a little bit. But what a start for Jimmy Spittle and USA SailGP when they needed it most.
They really did need it, Tom.
That's heady. All right, I'm going to settle it down here a little bit in my comp. Sorry, guys.
Settle it down a bit. That's probably a good mode. Now you're out in front, you've got a bit of space. Let's get that tempo down and start sailing the boat smooth and fast, which they've done a great job of all weekend. But it's tight in the pack. USA look like they're going to be able to get round left turn, but Australia, first to move away. He's looking for space on the race course.
And it's all going off in this race to the final. Currently, as it stands, the Danish, British and Aussies would be going through. But the USA is only 1 point behind Australia, so if they could get ahead here, or if Australia lose a place.
Right now, Lee, I got to imagine, Emily, that the USA is big fans of Spain, and they would love to see Diego Botín overtake Tom Slingsby and knock them back a point.
Early stages of the race, we can see boats starting to get very slow at gate 2. It's going to be halfway up this upwind leg that we'll get a better feel of the course here. What Tom Slingsby on board Australia has done well is find some space. He's in clear wind, but as we see our ladder lines on the course here, we can see that on the top of our screen, the right-hand side of our race course, Denmark, nearly 200 metres further pressed up the course, and a bit of a gain for them.
So before we have our first crossing here on leg number 3 and race number 5, let's go down on the water. Lisa Darman, and look at your crystal ball. Whose position do you like best with the conditions that you're seeing down there?
Denmark have picked this perfectly. They've been bold all weekend, and we know that right side is working, so they're looking really strong. But the battle is between Spain and Australia. Australia are not giving them any space because they know what is at stake here.
And the Australians right on cue overtake the Americans to that second position. So that's going to make life difficult for Jimmy Spithill and USA SailGP as they drop back to third, desperately in need of points. They're going to need to get past Denmark and Australia and then have Spain maybe help them out as well.
Sorry, I went some headed.
Really tight here. What I noticed there was Great Britain have done a nice job of finding some space. They've moved up to 5th, which will be good news for them as we're on board Australia here. A tight moment in the pre-start there. That was a big aggressive luff from the British, but Slingsby responded quick enough, got away. No love lost there. Here we are on board the front of the British boat. We can see now Australia must keep clear.
Right, flag that. Yep, flag that. Dangerous, Australia, penalty.
Pretty clear instructions from Ben Ainsley to the umpires there as to what he thought was happening, or should be happening more like. But now look at this, the wind has got a little bit light on the top of our screen. Australia, they've closed right up behind Denmark, but the USA, they do not have the right of way in this situation, but they're coming in fast and have made some gains. Britain, they look slow. There's not a lot of wind where Great Britain are at the moment. It's definitely light up under the fans on the shoreline.
Gate number 3 in the final fleet race, and then the top 3 are going on to the event final. Australia, they opt for that right-hand side where they just came from. Denmark goes to the other side. It looks like Spain. What are they going to do? They're going to follow the Americans, or they're going to follow the Danes? They're going to follow the Danes.
As Lisa has been saying, this decision up here is crucial. These next few seconds, whether or not you find wind could be so important. And Eric Heil on board the German boat, he looks set to play spoiler as he's closed up on the British, still behind them, but could well end up with a split at the top of the course. It's going to be about who finds more wind, and at the moment, Sehested, bottom right-hand corner of our screen, the Danish boat turns, but they're moving away nicely.
You go all the way back, Stevie, to practice day on Friday. The Danes have just looked so consistent.
And just shown right here, race to the final, Danish still leading the charge. Australia and GBR tied on points in second and third. And Spanish dropping a little bit further back. They're going to be pushing hard here to close that gap and hopefully gain a point.
Well, the Spanish, Stevie, might not make the final, but this is a good follow-up from their win in Los Angeles. It wasn't just a fluke.
They've said well all season. They're second overall in the season standing as we talk, and they've put together a brilliant performance. Very young, talented team. They've got a lot of work to do here. They're probably relying on a mistake from the British to have any hope. Big dip behind there by Rottwell, Denmark, and they've got to watch out for Jimmy Spithill now. Denmark don't have the right of way. That's a tight moment in the race there. Really tight moment. Now, Spain, they need to overtake those 2 boats in front of them, and they're going to be an awful lot closer than they were. Nervous times for Ben Ainsley on board Great Britain, but he's stalking the Spanish boat at the moment, chasing them down.
And once again, Tom Slingsby in Australia pulling an absolute Houdini after the last race, looking terrible, finishing at 5th again, and he somehow is finding his way, Emily, into that top 3.
We've seen the Australians sailing well all week. Yesterday, we saw them as one of the fastest boats on the upwind legs. They're also one of the best at manoeuvring. Same with the Danish. They're both gaining a lot of distance in these manoeuvres, while other teams less so.
Not sure you get his heart rate up until he's properly nervous before these last couple of races. Anyway, he's not at operating temperature, Todd.
And while we talk about the Australians and how they find a way to get to the front, Spain looking good, Emirates GBR looking good, Denmark's been consistent, Stevie. I hate to do it, but France on their home waters, they have just looked awesome.
Yeah, well, we talked about the big thing in that position swap. You know, they're back in 9th. They swapped one of their back 3, which I think both the boats that have swapped their back 3, you know, the driver, the flight controller, or the wind trimmer, Switzerland and France, they're both struggling in these tricky, gusty conditions, and it is a huge change to make.
Well, the Americans, as they move past on that position, they pick up a spot into 3rd now, so they're 2 points out of making the top 3. All this depends on really 3 boats. What Spain, Denmark, and the USA could pull off here on this final upwind leg.
It's really tight at the moment. The Spanish have done a fantastic job of getting their way through here, up into 2nd place at the moment. Denmark, slightly worrying for them ahead of a final, a probable final, is the fact they've dropped from 1st back to 5th. You'd kind of expect the leading boat historically is stretched away. Denmark won't be happy that they've got themselves caught up in the middle of the pack again. As we can see, Emirates Great Britain showing in 3rd at the moment. They'll like what they see if that happens. But right now, they've got to watch out for the boats coming back from the top of our screen. They have the right of way, but the ladder lines suggest that Great Britain are further up the course. Nice gains for Spain, nice gains for Great Britain at the moment. Aggressive from Australia. Look at that. He turns his boat directly on top of the wind for Spain and Australia, trying to block the wind to them, trying to slow them down, but ultimately trying to stay in the same patch of water as his rivals, as we see Great Britain have to dip behind Jimmy Spittill's USA.
So the Americans still in the fight, holding down third right now. It's Australia and Spain leading the way. Great Britain has moved into fourth. They look to be safe after that tremendous performance on the first race of the day where they got the win. Hannah Mills tell us, make life a little more difficult for Spain. They've crunched the numbers, Stevie. They knew exactly what they needed in this last race.
Yeah, she definitely will. Oh, the Spanish backhand side of our screen there. We just did a poor turn, fell off the foils. That could be a big moment for them. They've got to accelerate that Spanish boat. They're up over 30. Should be foiling.
Yeah, I think we go with them. Okay, so we're watching them. We're on a match.
On a match, that means they just want to try and stay directly on the wind, directly in front of the Spanish and slow them up. But the battle here is for Denmark.
Exactly, Stevie. Right now, with Spain in second and Denmark in fifth, that would actually see the Spanish leapfrog and end up into the final. So all the pressure right now is on the Danish overtaking.
There we go. See, bottom left-hand corner there. Spain and Denmark 34, but it's important to remember that whoever finishes ahead of whoever in the last race will win a tie-break. So Denmark, this could be disaster if they can't make one more game. They've sailed so well all weekend, so well at the beginning of this race, but just one slight slip, one slightly slow leg, and they're now under a lot of pressure.
3, 2, 1. Okay, rudder's coming off.
It looks like Tom Slingsby has done enough. Remember yesterday, they won race number 2. They backed it up with an 8th in race number 3, so they've been up and down all over the table this weekend. But when it counted most, race number 5, the 3-time reigning and defending champions, the Aussies, come to race 5 in Saint-Tropez and pick up a win.
It could be crucial. We just saw the USA had lost a few positions. I think Denmark are through. They could even jump ahead of the British here. Denmark has the right of way at the mark. He can slow the British up if he wants to. He's going to try and make it hard here. What does the Danish need to do? I think he just needs to finish fourth. He's taking him. Here we go. He's pushing the British off. Not enough though. Ainsley keeps the boat flowing. Ainsley's boat will foil first. Emirates Great Britain from here. They should be able to get up on the foils and lead in third place, but it's tight to the finish. And Denmark, oh my word, if Germany can get Denmark, that could be crucial for Denmark.
That could be it.
That could have been a huge mistake by the Danish to try and hunt the British. I think if they'd finished fourth, it would have been enough.
Emirates GBR with just enough speed as they cross the line in third place, and it is Germany that grabs fourth place.
As the spoiler as well, and a fourth Denmark. That's disaster. I think I didn't do great at school. I think that's enough to me.
Might lose another point.
Spain are going to be on the tie-break, and at the last mark, Denmark, oh no, this is disastrous.
Yeah,
this is so painful for the Danish fans.
And this place is hard to sail at. Yeah.
There you go.
Understatement of the day. This place is hard to sail at as Denmark was locked into the top 3, and they just dropped anchor on the final leg to fall out of the top 3.
I don't think he had to try and hunt the British. Fourth was enough though, Todd. They did not crunch the numbers well enough. Disaster for Denmark.
Set it down.
So Canada comes across the line in 8. This will be a definitely forgettable event for them after the 8-point deduction with a collision with Spain. France having to retire mid-race. Stevie, this has just been the worst for them after so much momentum coming into the season. Anticipation, they make the change at flight controller. It did not work out.
Pre-start area as they get in position. We're now down to 1:22, Emily, before the start of race number 1. The record is 98.3 kilometers an hour. And I got to ask you, Emily Nagel, is that in jeopardy today?
I think it is. Just in training alone before this race, we've seen the British team do 97 kilometers an hour, and that's just practicing before this start. So all to go on lap 1.
1 minute away from the start of race number 1 here at the Range Rover France Sail Grand Prix in Saint-Tropez. Stevie, they are all racing. Now the big question is, will New Zealand stay to the script and go to the back of the box and try to race it and hit the line as they make their way around the super yachts, everyone put in good position?
Well, there we go. Yeah, we can see New Zealand. There's quite a rogue route they're taking at the moment. They're trying to find that space. It's so windy, Todd. I think it's all about getting that timing in right. New Zealand first to turn back towards the line here with 30 seconds to go. We've still got a lot of boats planning their approach. Great Britain, they turn. USA turning. We can see the wind looks pretty big. It is going to be a case of timing. It's no problem taking off in this much wind, but where's the space? Great Britain towards the downwind end. 38 kilometers an hour is the wind on the course at the moment. Where are New Zealand? Zealand off the left of our screen. It's going to be a fast, late run from them. But in the middle of the line, Jimmy Spitzel on board USA. It's USA, Denmark and Australia who look pretty good. France, here they come. Quentin de la Pierre line's going to turn white. Wow, what a start. And New Zealand are there well out the back here. That magic trick's not worked today. It's Spitzel and he's sending it hard in towards Mark 1.
So here we go, race number 1, the first race of 3, and they're on their way to mark number 1. The Aussies already having an issue there, and look at the Americans having a great start.
Look at the speed, over 90 kilometers an hour. It's going to get fast, and as they bear away from the wind here, it's going to be dangerous.
They come into the danger zone at mark number 1.
Oh, it's all pretty controlled there, Great Britain. What a start by Ben Ainsley. Well, he's back with a bang after that disappointment in Copenhagen. Great start, great first leg, and look at the turn there. Smooth work, turning and manoeuvring the boats in this much wind is going to take a lot of choreography. It's going to be hard. That yellow line on the screen, that's the ley line. If you're sailing parallel to that, it should mean you're in good shape to make the next gate, but it's going to be hard today, Todd, because the wind's changing direction all the time. That moves the course around relative for the sailors, but look at the speed. Next big pressure mover, the big turn up from downwind, turning the boat into the wind, high risk. That's where we saw the Danish nearly capsize yesterday.
Hold it, not yet.
Here we're seeing them touch down into the water. This is actually intentional in today's breeze. They're trying to slow the boats down so they can get more control as they round up. The problem with this breeze is that it's a lot safer to just touch down intentionally than to come crashing off the foils from over a meter height.
At gate number 2, it is Great Britain that takes the lead. It's Australia, New Zealand, Spain, Canada, and the Kiwis all coming around. And what has happened to the Americans? They had such a great start, and now they find themselves in dead last.
Bad manoeuvre again, and I think the real big thing of today is how brave are you going to feel. New Zealand were out the back at the start, but they've pushed down that first downwind leg, up to second already, and that's just because they've been braver. They've flown the boat harder. Ainsley had a little bit of a lead. He could play it safe, and we see the British now. Ben Ainsley looking back at his opposition. It's decision time. Am I sailing on a good wind direction? We've got 45 kilometers an hour of wind nearly on the race course at the moment. No problem for wind strength, but yeah, how hard are you willing to push?
And I think it's interesting to note that race management has told them you cannot go to that super tuck position, try to get down to get aerodynamic in this wind. They want everyone up and looking around to avoid collisions.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. It's hard. They need to be looking at the wind changing here at the moment, and we can see good work by the British.
Just the live speeds here on the bottom left, we've got kilometers an hour, not, all the teams doing around 60k an hour going upwind. Pretty pacey.
Let's not forget Great Britain missing out on the last event in Copenhagen because of boat damage, so they are well rested and they are shaking off the rust as Ben Ainsley and Great Britain SailGP are pulling away.
Looking nice at the moment. We're looking to see how smooth do the platforms stay relative to the water. That's a good indication of how well they're sailing. New Zealand up to second. Canada look fast at the minute. But it's a bit of a drag race. We can see the wind has rotated a long way to the right, so they've all been sailing this same direction for a long time. They're progressing. This is the quickest angle to progress them up to the next gate, and all the boats are lined up, and at the moment it's purely a question of boat speed. The New Zealand boat sailing very fast, 64 kilometers an hour. Ben Ainsley's British crew not quite as fast, but they're pointing closer towards the next gate. They see that as the best option.
Look at that, over 40 kilometers an hour right now across the entire course. It is still Great Britain here in race number 1 on leg number 3 of 6.
Here we go, Australia peel away. It's so tight, those 5 boats all with could throw a net over them, no problem. Ben Ainsley's Great Britain, well, 100 meters ahead according to our ladder lines at the moment, and he'll like what he sees there. And then, gate coming up, we're very close to the next gate. Once again, they've got to turn the boats through that danger zone, through the max power zone, and it's going to be high risk once more, so we're going to have to listen in on board that British boat and hopefully hear how they execute the move. That's Hannah at the back there just talking about how well they need to set up for the bear away, what boats to watch out. Ben Ainsley referring that to the crew. Here we go, going to turn the boat away from the wind, watch the top of the mast, expect to see some big acceleration.
Happy and relatively calm, and here comes the rest of the fleet here in race number 1. It'll be the Kiwis and then the Aussies, followed by the Canadians.
Oh, Oh, 97 on top of the New Zealand mast at the top of the rig there. That was so fast on that bear away. And the French, first to take the left turn, split the course. It's all action out here. Look how tight the fleet is, Todd. 22 seconds from 7th to 1st. There's nothing in this.
2, 1, bearing away.
Mistake by Great Britain, they've fallen off the foils. This could be costly. Big error here. They're going so slow with both hulls in the water. Could be a big loss here for Great Britain. Will they be punished by the rest of the fleet? Australia, first to execute the move. They're up to 2nd place.
90, look at this, 93, 92.
Big wing. One on the left here.
Oh, wow. This is 3 going NASCAR style.
And important to note here, the Brits have broken the speed record already. Race 1, we've got a new top speed of 98.5 kilometers an hour. That was in that last gate. Absolutely ripping.
So they improve upon what they did last year in Aarhus. They went 98.3, now it's up to 98.5 for Ben Ainsley and Great Britain SailGP, and they still have the lead.
They've done a nice job of resetting. That's a much better turn they've done there. You can see the crew crossing the boat. It's like a bucking bronco. But Australia and New Zealand are breathing down their neck. Not a lot of room for error here, and we can see Australia on the ladder lines again. They've got the boat. Slingsby's absolutely driving that on the edge here, flying downwind, taking the lead on board the Australian boat. But how well are they lined up for the next turn at the bottom gate here? Gate 4, just 2 legs left. It's a bit of a sprint now, Todd. It's going to come down to accurate manoeuvres.
Mark 1 is moving, FYI.
Hannah Diamond just prepping the boat there for the next leg. Big round up there. They controlled that well. Luke Parkinson, flight controller there, but it's so tight. The first 3 boats, there's nothing in it. Just 1 more upwind leg, potentially 2 more manoeuvres here that could define the race. Ainsley has control of Australia, but New Zealand are the boat on the attack.
Stand by.
Here we go, 1 tack. A lot of pressure on this tack now. They'll turn the boat through the wind. Here they go. Hannah Diamond takes the wheel to steer the boat out of it. New Zealand, they turn first. It's all about who's got the angle to mark 5 that we can see at the top of the screen. It's going to be a sprint. Looks like there could be a few more maneuvers. Look how windy it is as the French approach the boundary. The voice of Ben Ainsley planning 2 more turns to do still before Mark 5, and when they turn next time, Australia, well, they've got the right of way. We can see on board New Zealand at the moment, but it's Australians with the advantage.
And Mark 1 now, we've got the Brits still holding their lead in first, but Australia and New Zealand have clearly moved up the fleet in that first leg of the race, gaining, moving up, and now only 10 meters behind the Brits.
Here we go, the wind's rotated to the right. That gives advantage to the boat on the right-hand side of the course as we looked upwind. So in this case, it's Australia. They've had a big gain due to a shift in the wind. If Ben Ainsley wants to turn the boat, he does not have the right of way over Australia and Slingsby. There's good news for Slingsby. He's got control. Just 2 more turns to go before we get to Mark 5. What can Ainsley do to get out of this stranglehold that Slingsby's got him in?
Ben Ainsley got the whole shot at mark number 1. He maintains his lead as Australia now starting to edge closer on the map. It's Great Britain and New Zealand top 3.
Big manoeuvre here. Ainsley must divide Australia out of this turn. Slingsby knows what's coming. How can he defend it?
Holding up here. Holding up. Holding up.
Oh, he made it so hard for Ben to miss him, but now he's slow. Has he made it to Mark 5? It's going to be tight. They need to turn left. Then it's a sprint to the finish. New Zealand, they slide inside Great Britain. Australia look like they've made it. It's going to be advantage Australia, but they're slow. New Zealand nearly twice the speed for the sprint to the finish.
So here we go. Great Britain goes from first to third, and now it's a drag race between Australia and the Kiwis.
Watch the top of the mast here. This is the danger angle. We're going to see speed records up for grabs over red there on Australia. They've got to keep clear of New Zealand. Oh my word! Oh, he's crashed down. New Zealand. What a move from Burling.
Peter Burling was in dead last at mark number 1, and here he is taking the win in race number 1.
Oh, here we go, and Jimmy Spittle from nowhere on board USA. He's charging through Ainsley. Looks like he's going to get second, and can Australia make the turn down to the finish? Oh, it's at the back of the pack. Look at this for Slingsby. He was first at the last mark, Todd. He's absolutely dead in the water here. Can the French get round? Can Australia cling on to 5th? I think he has.
So New Zealand gets the win. Penalty being given to Denmark at the end of the race as they come in to the finish. Great Britain was battling as well.
And huge top speed coming into the finish there. 99 kilometers an hour coming into the finish line. Stevie, we've almost broke that 100 kilometers an hour record.
Well, yeah, that's pretty fast for me. What a performance that was. What a race. And now Tom Slingsby, well, he's had a last place and a 6th place. And he's really got some work to do at this stage. He's been struggling at the back of the pack. Technical issues or no technical issues. This is the winner of the last 2 events. He won the Moth World Championships just a week ago.
And the defending champions.
Yeah, he is the hottest property out on the water at the moment. He needs to make a move here.
Okay, the 3 boats that are on my radar are Denmark, Australia and France. They are a long way off the front 5. The front 5 are Japan, USA, New Zealand and Spain, all between 11 and 14 points. If Denmark, Australia and France don't win this race, I'm going to chuck it out there and say their weekend could well be over already.
Still 2 races coming tomorrow before that final race where the top 3 boats will compete, and that's where the big points are and an opportunity to win the France Sail Grand Prix. The Americans did themselves a solid coming in race number 2 and getting the win to back up that 5th.
Well, here we go, 37 seconds to go. Tom Slingsby, well, he knows he needs to make something happen. And look, he's leading the fleet back here. Phil Robertson, here we go. He's up to the left of the screen. He's giving himself a run up. Can he find a gap? I think he will be able to find a gap from here. It's going to be really tight. Here comes Robertson, building speed, up onto the foils as the Australian crew now. Tom Slingsby has great control, but has Phil Robertson timed it right? He seems very early. It's the voice of Florian Trittel saying we're too early here, we're too early. He's got the end of the line locked off, but it's all about speed at the gun. Who's going to make it? There's the line clear. The French jump through. Has Robertson got room? Yes, he has. But my word, that was tight at the top, and it looks like Slingsby's going to get the boat up on the foils and should lead from here at Mark 1.
Oh, what a tonic from Slingsby. He defended Phil Robertson and got a great start himself. That is so hard to do. He shut one boat down and launched himself onto the course.
Quality action and all the pressure on him there. He needs this one.
He needs this race.
So Tom Slingsby leading Australia to mark number 1. They've got the clear lead. What can they do with it? As Ali reported, the winds are holding steady right around 19 kilometers an hour. And Nikolaj Sehested in Denmark, SailGP presented by Rockwell, sitting in 2nd place. So good to see the red and white running out in front with the Aussies.
Great start by Sehested. Here we are, the Australian boat setting up for that jibe. We've got a great overhead view here. It's a chance now. They're trying to get down to gate 2. The first to jibe away, Denmark. They're trying to find the best new wind as the Australians go right to boundary. By going to the boundary, you give yourself the best chance of minimising manoeuvres. They've stayed on the foils. Lovely jibe by the Australians. 100 metres ahead already.
Yeah, that's a standout, Stevie. Massive split across the 8 boats already. 2 of the boats that I said needed to do well in this race is Australia and Denmark. Right now, got an Australia-Denmark 1-2.
Guys, let's go back to the start of race number 3, and once again, no surprise to see Spain involved. Look at this, the final seconds before the start.
Oh, we've missed him, haven't we, Todd? We've missed a bit of Robertson entertainment. The aggression's back, the fire's in the belly, and wow, he was aggressive. Florian Trittel telling him, you're too early, you're too early, too early. Not in Phil Robertson's mind, he wasn't. Here we go, half a chance. I'm going to get in there, shut the door. Coming across the front of the USA boat. We're on board the USA boat at that moment, but it was brilliant work by Robertson, aggressive. But Slingsby, he was equal to it, and we're back live, approaching gate 2. Solid first downwind leg from Tom Slingsby, and he really needs to make this stick.
So coming into gate number 2, it's Australia in the lead. They need this victory desperately to stay in the hunt for the big final race coming tomorrow after 2 more fleet races. Nikolaj Sehested and...
Yeah, this is the umpires. It's a penalty, USA relative Spain. Port tack boat not keeping clear.
So the Americans with an unforced error on Spain, they'll be forced to drop back 1 position and yield that 3rd place.
It's happened really close. That line there, the USA must get behind that to clear the penalty. It's going to be tight. They need to clear it soon, or it could be really costly going further down the course. Still not clear. They're behind the Spanish here. Surely that penalty's going to scrub off fairly soon. Well, look, there it is. It's clear. That just in time for Jimmy Spithill. And Billy Besson, well, he found space on this downwind leg. He's on the inside as they approach the mark here. He needs this. He's up to 5th, but can he sneak round inside Jimmy Spithill? No, he can't. Spithill just far enough ahead there. And Besson, he's in the pack, but he needs to make a move from here. Good first downwind leg from the French crew.
First 2 boats are gone right now, but from 3 through to 6, we have got a proper dogfight.
We have. It's light winds at the bottom of the course. That was Francois Morvan there, his little head, the French flight controller in the middle of shot there, calling a H1. Don't try and foil tack, Billy. Keep the speed in, put the hull in the water as they have, and we'll gap on the foil after the tack.
Just press really hard. Yep.
That's the voice of Lee McMillan saying press. Press means build speed, but look, top of screen, Nikolai Sehested on port tack looks to have made a gain over Tom Slingsby. The wind has shifted to the left, so Tom Slingsby has lost out, and it's big gain for Sehested here. Oh, but that's Tom Slingsby. It's not the first time that he said we're struggling today. Maybe some technical glitches on the Australian boat. You've got to keep fighting here, guys. This race is so crucial.
Happy with left turn as well. All right, heading.
Sehested talking to Tom Johnson there. They're happy with the breeze they see ahead of them. There's nothing that you want more than that. Keep the boat in wind, sailing fast and clear.
Right now, the big winners as it sits right now are the Americans, currently sitting in 3rd place. Remember, they had a 1st in the last race, a 5th in race number 1. And the question is, where are the Japanese, where are the Australians, and where's Great Britain?
Australia boundary penalty, Australia boundary penalty.
Oh, I can't help thinking that's a software issue. That's an unforced error. He can't see the boundary. Oh, this is a disaster for Slingsby. Got to keep his frustration levels down. On board there, Sehested, right-hand screen, Slingsby on the left. And look, Slingsby's shoulders look hunched to me. He is stressed, he is tense. He needs to try and keep it calm and stay in the race, but it must be so frustrating with these glitches making his day a long, long day at the moment.
So coming up on leg 3 of 6, this will be gate number 3 as Denmark has a little bit of a moment there as they raise that one hole high up in the water. Here comes Jimmy Spithill and the Americans in 2nd.
That's a really, really bad tack, that, Todd. They were in a good position. They dropped both hulls into the water, and that was a mistake. But what hasn't been a mistake is their tactical decision-making. They've done a great job on this upwind leg, and they're making it stick so far. Just one more lap to go for the Danish, halfway point of the race. They're in the lead, but they need to keep themselves in the lead. And Jimmy Spithill, well, the pit bull's hunting him down.
So Spithill chasing down the Danes right now, who have the lead as they go through gate number 3 onto leg 4 of 6. There you see the wind. It's been pretty consistent, as Ali Vance reported, now sitting at just over 18.5 kilometers an hour. And the Kiwis rising up there, having a bit of a moment.
That's right. The Kiwis have had quite a bit of criticism for not coming through the fleet, and they're doing a great job at the moment. As we see now, Jimmy Spithill showing us in 3rd place. The Australians have made a gain at the moment, but will it turn out long-term to be that case? Sehested looks pretty calm on board, and it's nice to see Jimmy Spithill in picture as USA set up to jibe. Will Denmark follow? Yes, there goes Tom Johnson getting ready for a jibe.
The Americans follow suit right on them.
On the money from the Danish though, pressure on.
As the umpires, Australia, you have a boundary penalty, penalty clear.
Oh, wow. Craig Mitchell, ruthless. The guy can't see where the edge of the course is, Craig. Give him a break. But anyway, it's got to be the same for everyone, and that's fair enough. Now, Sehested's done a nice job on the ley line here as he sails down towards gate 4. It'll be the final upwind leg. This looks good for Sehested.
A lot of chatter on board Denmark. It'll be interesting to see what Jimmy Spithill does. The pit bull hunting him down. Does he put the pressure on Sehested and force him into a mistake?
They're both looking here for another jibe. Sehested, he's jibed too late. Spithill has the inside line. It was the right idea from Sehested, but it's too late. Spithill should get the inside at this turning mark, and that will give a lead change on the downwind leg. He's just doing the classic. Hang in there. Don't make mistakes and wait for the opposition to make a mistake. Spithill, Campbell James and Andrew Campbell, wow, they're finding their straps in these 2 races.
Coming off a 1st place finish in race number 2, have the Americans found their form? Are they on their way to winning their 1st event here in Saint-Tropez?
So we're on board with the Americans tacking here. and the Danish tacking Simo. I'm going to take you back to the last jibe. Spithill could see that coming up, and he built his entry speed into that jibe to 53 kilometers an hour. The entry speed for the Danish jibe was 42. No wonder they jibed and rode them coming into the bottom.
Speed in equals speed out, Freddie, and we're on board with both the boats. Right-hand screed Sehested. He's in second place. Jimmy Spithill, he's won a few races in his time, but he's going to really want to win this race for Paul Campbell-James on 9/11 for the US team. It's a great effort at the moment by the US crew, but it's tight as they work upwind.
Constant conversation. The battle is on between the USA and Denmark right now for the victory in race number 3.
And the French crew, Billy Besson's doing a nice job in this last race of slowly working his way through the fleet, one boat at a time. He's up to 4th. That was a good tack on the top of the screen there. And as Jimmy Spithill has got his attention firmly focused on the Danish and Nikolai Sehested, will that open an opportunity for the Spanish of Phil Robertson and the French of Billy Besson? As there's a little discussion as to where the finish line is here, guys.
This is like 5 of 6, so it's through the next gate and then off to the finish line.
That platform is totally locked and dialed into that tack. A little splash on the bow, they won't be too concerned about that. That's not too bad. I'm going to give them that. Totally locked in on the upwinds.
It looked like a little bit too much foil went in the middle of the tack there, and the boat just suddenly dropped out of the water, stalled the foil, and they've had to build speed. But, okay, that's Sehested. We're going to be strong enough if we come in with speed. They're maybe learning on the job. Keep that speed up, Nikolai.
You've got to keep your entry speed high into the manoeuvres. They did that badly on the last dive, on the last downwind, gave up the lead. Are they going to build big speed into the tack and attack the Americans?
Building good speed here, 47 kilometers an hour versus 43. They're a lot faster. That yellow line is where they can turn and know they'll make the finish. They need to stick this tack. If they do, it's all on. This final maneuver will be crucial.
And the Americans right there with them, so Denmark may have just run out of time and distance as Jimmy Spithill does a great job here. So it's through the gate and then it's off to the finish line.
It's good positioning here from Jimmy Spithill, and we can see Besson, he's showing us 3rd on our leaderboard. If he stuck his last tack, it's going to be tight with Phil Robertson in 1st place. Could be 2 in a row for Jimmy Spithill and Paul Campbell-James. Andrew Campbell, what a job they've done in these light conditions, but under a lot of pressure. Nikolai Sehested had to get a keeper. Looks like he's going to get it to me.
So Denmark coming in hot on the heels of the Americans, but it's Jimmy Spithill with a masterful last 2 legs, looking very good, and the Americans will make it 2 for 2 on 9/11.
This is the umpires. Penalty France, relative Spain. Penalty France, relative Spain.
Billy
A terrible time for France to get another penalty.
That's a really bad time. That could really open the door for Peter Burling and New Zealand on things here. Burling, here we go. It's relative to Spain, so France must get behind Phil Robertson. This is good news for Burling. If he can get the boat up and foiling, he's pushing. Robertson must stay clear. It's a similar situation to race 1. Phil Robertson has to be careful. Oh, the French, he's killed the speed. Has he killed too much speed? Burling will go through in 3rd. Robertson needs to get past him. Looks like a nice save by Besson, but wow, is that costly. 3rd to 5th on 1 rule incident. Great job. Happy Bayoy's on board the Kiwi boat.
I tell you what, the tech team are going to have to change the red light bulb in the French boat, aren't they? It's been flashing all day. Oh, this is Tom Slingsby, and he is having a whinge, and I think that's fair enough.
You have got to suck it up, mate. Unfortunately, tough day.
Oh, mate. I mean, what a start by him.
Yeah, amazing start. And they've done a great job, but ultimately it's the finish that matters. And Japan, they're at the back of the pack, and Great Britain. It's been an interesting day for the season leaders. That last race has really put the cat amongst the pigeons.
So Great Britain starts off the day with a win in race number 1. They back it with a 5th place, and then they drop back to 8th on the 3rd race. But it's the Americans who get hot on races 2 and 3, and America wins those 2 races to put themselves in prime position.
We are starting to race. The Aussies have entered, and the Japanese are still connected to their chase boat. So this could be quite interesting. They've got to get in and race. Will Tom Slingsby take advantage of this?
Okay, we are going up.
Will he try and block him out, or will he just get into the box and get his nerves in? There's an early entry for Tom Slingsby, so he has a slight penalty
Australia,
to take.
Early entry. Penalty Australia, early entry.
So we're just going to enter and we're all good. Yeah, and stay clear of them. They're going to be coming back at us fast, right? Stand by to charge.
So that means big mistake by the Australian team. That means that they have to start behind Japan, behind the opposition. So massive error early on. Massive.
So all that advantage that they got from that port end side and all the lead up to the points has been nothing by about probably 1.5 to 2 seconds. So now the Australians, will they try and get a penalty on Japan to try and even it out? Or will Japan just sail straight away from them? What I'd be doing if I was Japan, I wouldn't go near them.
Going forward.
Advantage at this stage to Japan.
You got 55 seconds, mate. Yeah, but slingshot time on distance start above at the moment, okay, boys? Board up, please.
Just look at the heart rates on Slingsby.
Keep an eye on time, lads.
So we heard Nathan's voice, a slingshot approach, which means he's going to come from above with pace, cross that start line as fast as he can. The Australian team, though, slow.
The Australians cannot do anything. That's the problem. They've got a penalty. They can't attack. They can't put pressure on. So Nathan and his crew can just pull the trigger from wherever he likes. And as long as he nails that start line, it doesn't go over at the start, they can be going for it. So here we go. Japan starting to wind up now from way at the very top of the box. 26, 27 knots. Remember, Australia have to start behind them. So will they play a little bit of cats and dogs, or will they just pull the trigger and go firing? I think they're going to pull the trigger and go firing, because here we go with 3 seconds to go. 2-1, the grand final is on, and it is Japan on the top end of the course, and Australia below. Japan doing a nice job there. Will they get across to the first mark in good spot?
Don't push it too hard. Yeah,
looks like the penalty is off for Australia, Shirley. So what do you think of that start?
Great start by the Aussies. I mean, they could not have managed that better. Absolutely at top speed crossing the line.
Yes, well done to both boats. We're only about 2 boat lengths apart. A little bit of wing wash coming on the Australians, but I don't think it's going to bother them that much. Japan through the first mark in first place. Will Australia jibe off early, or are they going to try and push them over? Looks like they're going to jibe off early. There goes the board down. Will Nathan Outridge, will he match that manoeuvre, or will he just try and sail his own race, Shirley?
Standing by, my wing, going forward.
He's taking his time, he's picking his moment, he's not being forced into making a decision.
Nice job there by Tom Slingsby and the Australian crew to get that jibe in. And it looks like they've got a nice bit of pressure down that mid-side. Japan were a little bit slow coming out of that jibe. You see them have to be a little bit higher in their bows to wind the boat up. In a minute, they'll turn and roughly turn towards the same angle that Australia have done, but that was a great job there by the Australians to jibe early.
2, 1, box, turning.
Australia now on starboard. They have all the rights until they get into the zone.
And Japan just sneaking over the front. Looks like Nathan's going to slam one right in front of his face just to make Tommy have to follow him in here to this bottom mark. And that was a nice, risky manoeuvre, but nice manoeuvre there by Japan. Good job by them.
Stand by. Keep the build on. Yeah, board down.
This race is so on, Jody. There's like a boat length between them.
Will we expect anything more from these two combatants? We knew this was going to happen. There's been talk about will they split, will they do their own thing? No way. This race is going to go right to the end. Good job attack there by the Australians, who have peeled out first, and hopefully, for their sake, getting over to this right-hand side to that little bit of pressure that's coming down the course. Will Nathan Outridge and his team of Japan go all the way to the boundary and just back himself? We'll soon see.
My wheel.
Looks like they've gone a long way over there for the tack, Shirley.
No higher, no higher. All right.
You know, the Japanese are fast. They're good at manoeuvres.
Stand by.
Australia look quite nice there. Japan just coming off that left-hand boundary. Australia setting up for their tack now. If they're ever going to do a good foiling tack, now is the time to do it, because they need to nail this one and get up and going, which it looks like they've done. But Japan look great from that left-hand side at this stage.
Crossing quite easily. Do you want to hit or not? All right. I'm happy. We're not close. We're too close to hit. Just across.
Well, it's very, very close here, Nathan. Saying too close to hit him, which means he wants to tack on top of him. So the Australians, there's nothing in it. They're about that far apart at the bottom mark, and they're still the same distance after a big tack from both boats going to either side of the course. Now Australia heading over the left. Japan want to follow. That's pretty smart move by Nathan Outridge.
Could be a massive advantage to be the right-hand bow on the screen. You're on starboard, you've got all the rights.
Yeah, he looks quite nice there off his hips to the right-hand side. Looks like it's paid off there for Japan, because if Australia attack now, Japan might have pulled another couple of boat lengths out of him, unless they get a little left-hander, which Australia might be a little bit bowed down, so they might get something from the left here. Australia look like they're about to get up, set up to go for attack. Kyle Lincoln got ready to jump up out of the cockpit. Tommy called him to come back down. So they're happy just to keep smoking on over to this left-hand side of the course. Maybe make the ley line, Shirley.
I think we can. We just got to watch the traffic.
Here they go, the Australians setting up now.
Speed build here. My wheel, call the exit angle. Yeah, we'll go left mark here. It's closer mark.
This could be a massive gain for the Japanese team. They want to go to that left-hand side, and they have nailed that ley line to the left-hand mark.
There is still absolutely nothing. I'd call 2 boat lengths at best between these two boats, but like you said, Nathan Outridge and Co have already got around the top mark, and they are heading downhill another 10 knots quicker than what the Aussies are. The Aussies up now around the left-hand gate as we're looking at it. So big decision, big split decisions there between the two boats.
Long drive. Copy that.
Slingsby and the Australians done all right driving first on that first downhill leg, so will it pay off again, surely?
Tom Slingsby very happy with his choice and with his speed, and we can see that. They're nearly 3 knots quicker than the Japanese.
This is the final downwind leg, so we're waiting all year for this, and we have got a couple of legs to go, and it is still a nothing between these boats, which is exactly how we wanted it.
Waves here.
Tom Slingsby has not got a heartbeat according to that rating. 73 beats per minute. It's pretty cool.
The Aussies have been faster all the way down here. This is neck and neck.
Japan look a little bit higher in the bows there. They're coming up. They're on a little bit of a lift coming up in towards the Aussies. So the Aussies will be taking a little bit of time out. Here comes the Aussies now setting up for their jibe.
My wheel. Okay. All right.
Aussies on starboard, right of way boat. Must avoid the
going hard here.
It's almost like action replay of the first downhill.
We've got the inside, I think.
Distance is exactly the same, but they've done a nice job there. Australians, will they be able to roll over the top of the Japanese and come into this zone first? Oh, is it? Oh, very, very close there. Australia, Japan try to get up underneath the Australians and push them off. Not sure whether he had an overlap there. We'll soon see from the umpires.
Call it. It's not there. Lock now.
Australia done what we call an eagle. So 2 boards in. They had to get 2 boards to get down into the zone. Japan got really badly hurt out of that, Shirley.
Terrible, no boat speed. They went very aggressively to get the penalty and didn't get it.
And has that been the move, the $1 million move that lost him this race? We'll soon see. Very, very aggressive, as you said there, Shirley. He was trying to keep Tommy and the Australians out of that zone, but he pushed him up, didn't have the overlap, and Tommy had enough to just go around in front of him. So we're on the final leg now of the championship race for the 2019 SailGP Grand Final, and it is the Australians, Tom Slingsby, leading the charge into this race. Got a couple of tacks to go. He's going over to possibly cover the Japanese, Shirley. How do they think they're going to come out of that other side?
How are we doing there, Milky? Have a look at him. Yeah, looking
good. they seem happy, the Australian team. They're looking good. They're confident that they're crossing.
Well, that move could come back to haunt Nathan Outridge. It looks like he could get a little bit of breeze there, but the Australians look fantastic as well up on the left. There's about a 100-metre difference on the grids. But once they get to actually crossing, I think it's only going to be about 4 boat lengths at best. You reckon Australia would have slammed one straight on top of him, or will he go over and set himself up for the top mark? Remember, we're finishing at the top mark here. This is the final leg. We do not have a reach into the finish. They are finishing at the top mark.
Please disregard. We have been unable to move the finishing mark.
Have a look
So
at
close. So close.
What's the mark here? Eagle, eagle, eagle. No, we're good. Copy.
You hear him say eagle, 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 and Tommy says no, we're good. So what that means Kyle was calling, do we need that on foil down? Look how close that is.
Showing. Copy.
Oh my God. Anyway.
Nathan's mistake, though, Jody, was picking what turned out to be the wrong side at that top mark. He let the Australians take the right-hand side of the course, more pressure, more speed, and they came right back into the game.
And that's exactly what they did in that first lap, so I'm surprised they made the mistake twice, but we're not that far away from the finish. We've got a couple of 100 metres to go. Australia are leading the grand final here in Marseille. Tommy Slingsby would be very, very happy with where he's getting his boat up. Maybe one more tack to go, or will they make it down from there? It all started with a win in Sydney, then an emotional victory in San Francisco. They were beaten in New York. They dominated in Cowes. It's time to get up and party. Australia is the 2019 SailGP champion.
Well, Jody, I think their screams said it all. That means everything.
Wow. Wow. That is amazing. You got to feel for these guys. Congratulations to the Japanese for getting in the final. But Australia had been the most dominant boat all year, and they deserve it, Shirley. They dead set deserve it. Look at the emotion on board, as you can imagine.
What a roller coaster. Massive mistake, entering early, such an unforced error. But they never gave up. They never gave up.
Well, the conditions are beautiful. We come up on a minute 20 to go for the start of the third and final race of the day. The best news we've heard all day, Stevie and Emily, all 9 boats are ready to race. So that is the good news. So the delay pays off, gets everyone back in there. Remember, Australia had the big damage in race number 1. It was Great Britain in race number 2. Who has what left to finish off a very exciting day on race 3?
Yeah, 1 minute to go, and we can see that delay the boats. In this much wind, you can move around very quickly, so there's some different strategies. France and Canada quite well off to the left, and a lot of the other boats a bit later in. We've seen the start, maybe not absolutely crucial, but clearly the Kiwis were very focused. Joe Allais telling us we've got to get into it, we've got to get ready, and we can see the boats turning in now. 40 seconds to go, last choice coming. We can hear on board New Zealand at the moment as we see Burling again, typically out the back, looking for that long run-up, but he looks a long way back at this stage for me. 30 seconds to go. They are going to be fast and furious there. Blue mark, top right-hand side of our screen. That's the pole position. That's the fastest position to be at to race towards Mark 1. And it's Spain, Denmark and Australia. They're really battling for that pole position. It's going to be about who can be at speed at the gun. Canada coming back, looking well-timed. They're coming in fast. New Zealand charging through the gap here. We've got to watch for the line to turn. White, how's your timing here as we come into the start?
Canada.
Oh, it goes clear there. Great start by Jimmy Spiddle again. Good start by Phil Robertson on Canada, and it's the Kiwis in the jam in the sandwich. Can they slide out and get the whole shot at Mark 1?
High speeds for race number 3 as we get ready to wrap up the day. Day number 1 of the Range Rover France Sail Grand Prix at mark number 1. And look at the speeds. Everyone over 80 kilometers an hour.
Big pressure moment here, let's watch, and they keep it under control at full speed. Canada get a little bit low, America get a little bit high. Look at the speeds.
A lot of bravery on board the American boat as they take it very high. It's Australia, New Zealand, the USA, your top 3.
There we go, Australia going downwind at over 50 knots in old money there. 93 kilometres an hour in a straight line downwind, and it's New Zealand flying past them here. All going to be about the quality of this manoeuvre. Australia looks slow. They're in the water. They're really, really slow. Oh, full reset for Australia. New Zealand have stuck the manoeuvre and they're going to boost out in front. Top speed, 96 kilometres an hour for New Zealand, and they just blew straight over the top of the Australians. And it's New Zealand and the USA well set for gate 2, but America has a penalty. Oh, it's cleared, very quickly cleared, and it's going to be New Zealand coming in fast.
And Great Britain doing a great job of threading the needle, getting their way through the pack. It looked like Canada, Australia had problems. They went dead in the water, became roadblocks, and here we go. It is all on here in race 3.
There's a lot of action happening here as we look at the screen here. Look how tight this is. New Zealand will be ahead. Switzerland, they're on the inside. They will have the right of way. Denmark must keep clear. Can Great Britain thread the needle? Great work by the British. Squeeze inside America. It's Great Britain up to second. America in third, and the rest of the pack, well, they're really, really slow. They're off the foils. Opportunity for Slingsby to get back in the race.
And a similar situation that happened in race number 2 when Switzerland went to the other side of the course, dropped both holes in the water, and everyone had to find a way around him.
Yeah, Nathan tried to just minimise the distance, but he got slow. He fell off the foils. Everyone else had to keep clear of him, and so he's parked the rest of the fleet behind him. Great news for the boats ahead, and the Swiss are up and going into the race. But for Spain, Canada and Denmark, wow, that could be so costly.
In these conditions, it can be quite tricky to get back on the foils. You've got a smaller wing, which is less power, but when you crash down, you're also filling the holes up with water. So they've got to let the water drain, build the power again, get back up to speed, and then pop up onto the foils.
Look at those wind gusts on top. That's across the course, 38 kilometers an hour. It is New Zealand out in front. Great Britain did a great job there after mark number 1, working their way through the traffic and the carnage. And the Americans now sitting in second, 1 spot ahead of Great Britain. Switzerland up to 4th.
Yeah, just on board there, Blair Tuke's voice there, steady breeze. There's constant comms between Blair and Pete and Joe as to what the plan is as we look ahead here. They're talking about the boats around them. Their focus at the moment is going to be on Jimmy Spithill behind them on the US boat, but it looks pretty good. The ladder line showing 100-metre lead for the Kiwis on leg 3 of 6. We're already nearly halfway through this race. Anna Diamond calling the American boat being ahead of the British at the moment, but they will be coming back together later.
And here we've got the speeds, top 3 boats. The Kiwis still the fastest on the water at 72.5 kilometres now.
Oh, Emily, look at that. The British boat flying too high in a straight line. They crashed down again. Don't know if that was a mechanical issue, an unforced error, or an uncharacteristic error, probably. They've lost 100 metres in the blink of an eye, and they will potentially be full of water. What a moment there. Well, that's going to take the pressure off New Zealand and Jimmy Spithill on board the American boat here as they're sailing parallel to that yellow ley line. No more manoeuvres before they need to turn at the next gate.
So it's the Kiwis and the Americans out in front. Great Britain will try to get that water out quickly, and then Switzerland as we check in on the water with Lisa Darmanin.
Well, it's wild out here. It's so windy that they're actually just falling off the foils in the straight line, and we don't really see that very often. So the New Zealand team and Pete are really making it look easy right now, but yeah, that USA team are the real standout performance for me out here. And the other thing that just to keep an eye on for you guys in the box is that Australia have gotten back into this race.
Australia now up to 4th place, right behind Great Britain, to see if they'll make a pass and move into 3rd. Remember, they've got to win in race number 2 as they come up on gate number 3, the near gate, one of the 2 rounding gates renamed and branded near in recognition of SailGP's new partner.
Here we go. Let's watch the acceleration here, Todd. It's going to be a big bear away. They're turning the boat away from the wind now, and they're going to accelerate so hard. Good control on board the New Zealand boat. Next up for the test, it's Hans Henken on board the American boat, the flight controller. They look a little heeled over into it. Can they control the boat as they bear away? They turn it away well. And France, Quentin de la Pierre's come from nowhere, and he's up to 3rd, the local team. Good job. And it's tight in the pack now. Big loss for Great Britain on this upwind leg.
Nathan Outer just sorted things out. They've moved up to 4th place with Australia right behind them in 5th.
Just tell that, look at that, they're just ploughing the boat through that turn, trying to keep it under control. They can't afford to fly the boats too high because it's too risky, 2 on the edge. And at top of screen there, France and Great Britain, they're heading towards the Saint-Tropez shoreline, but back at the front, it's going to be the New Zealand boat we can see. It looks pretty calm on board that New Zealand boat. 200-metre lead, the graphic on the left shows us. And for Burling, Calais and Co, it's all about this one more turn before the final gate. Not a long way to go. Pretty much a sprint to the finish after this next turn.
Got me breeze on, this is the jibe. Showing 7. Yeah, definitely left.
And you hear the heavy breathing on board.
And here we've got the leg summary from leg 3. The Kiwis and Americans both doing about 60.7 kilometres an hour average speed. while the Kiwis are sailing a slightly shorter distance. And then we see the British with 54.5 kilometers an hour average speed, where they kind of dropped off the foils in that bad.
Oh, there's a lot of white water over the French boat at the moment, over the American boat, sorry, but the French, look how fast they are. Where have they come from? Quentin de la Pierre, pedal to the metal, hammer down. Here he goes on the French boat, and now it's going to be tight as we get to the bottom, 200 meters out behind New Zealand. But de la Pierre, wow, they've got that French boat going fast, and it looks like he's going to pass the Americans, just pure speed.
Gate number 4, leg 4. Here we go. Race number 3. It is New Zealand out in front, the winners of the last 2 events, and the winner of race number 1 today. They are back on form.
Joe cooking what's happening behind. French boat's going to follow around in second. Oh, it's pretty calm. Nice job by the French there. They've done a nice comeback here. Really tight. Now, 4th place, Switzerland. Don't think Ben Ainsley's entitled to room in there. It was very tight. It'd be interesting if that goes to the umpires. Really tight the circle. Ainsley and Great Britain must keep clear. He must keep clear. Switzerland can turn him up into the wind.
This is the umpires. Penalty, GBR, relative Switzerland. Not entitled to room at the mark.
Oh, there you go, got to say. He's got to let the Swiss boat back pass. I had to agree with him, really. It all happened there, but Craig Mitchell, I think it did look like that to me. It was a very late change. Great Britain must drop behind. Every point counts. That could be really crucial.
And on the top left here, we've got the ride height. We're seeing the boats go around at 0.6 to 0.8 meters out of the water. Normally, we're looking at them doing a meter of above the water. Today, everyone's being a bit more conservative, keeping more of the foils, trying to keep control, and also trying to slow the boats down, as we've said before.
52 kilometers an hour of breeze. That's a huge gust of wind on the water, absolute limit. Top of the screen there, we can see New Zealand. Well, they'll love that view. They're aiming straight in at mark number 5. That's the turn to the finish. It's all on them now. Keep the boat flying steady, and they should be set. That's Burling. He's trying to define if that's the mark on the bow. I can tell you it is, Pete. That's where you're going to next. You're well lined up, and it's about a turn, and then how fast are they willing to go towards that finish line?
Leg 5 of 6, the final race of the day as we get ready for tomorrow's championship Sunday. And this mark, it will be the Kiwis. They'll make the left-hand turn, and watch the speed. Watch the acceleration.
Come the French. Now, how do they get on that mark? It's a bit of a bravery contest as they turn towards that finish, as New Zealand now, look, just meters away.
Race number 3, it will go the way of the last 2 wins. It's the Kiwis once again on top here in Saint-Tropez. How about the French put on a show for the locals?
And not just coming in second here for the French. The French have also set another new top speed of the day. Stevie, 99.9 kilometers an hour. They are just off of that 100 that we've been looking for, but so impressive. Home crowd.
I did think they looked pretty fast on that downwind leg, and a bit of a comeback by the British for 4th. Improved performance for the Swiss in 5th, but it's all these new teams. Definitely a new experience in these big breeze. Canada and Phil Robertson, well, they look so good early season. We know how good they are, but they're out the back. And 7th, Australia. Whoa, we've not seen that. 2 good races at the beginning of the day, though, for Slingsby. Not the end of the world with that finish, but he won't be happy ending the day like that. 99.9. Oh, I wanted 100, Todd.
That means you're going to tune in tomorrow.
Well,
as Spain comes across, and that will wrap things up. 3 races up, 3 races down. And what a performance of the final race as New Zealand gets out in front and stays out in front. Pete Burling showing the form that got him the win at the last event in Copenhagen, Denmark, and they look to be on an absolute roll, do the Kiwis.
Let's look at the start line here. The blue little triangle at the bottom of the course of the line is pole position, and watching all the pre-start practice they've been doing, the boat that has won that blue spot has gone on to lead at Mark 1. That, Stevie, is why everyone is congregating together at the bottom of the line.
yeah, it's trying to get off that pole position, but that's pole position in a perfect world. Key really is who can be up on the foils foiling when this gun happens in this light wind. We've got on board Australia. Tom Slingsby's chosen to lead back a little early. That's Kyle Langford saying we're early. Not a great thing to hear. Ben Ainsley, we'll look at him hovering to the right of screen, and Peter Burling. They're going to look for a late arrival somewhere near this pole position spot. Who's timed it well? Big wing, big heel over on board the Australian boat. How are they going to turn things out? Here comes Burling, diving in across in front of the Japanese. He's got control. I like where Outeridge is, though. If he can build the space. Burling trying to kill the speed desperately quickly. Here we go. We're turning down. Watch for the light to go white. They're all early here. They're all really early. Really, what is happening here? This is unbelievable. There's the line clear. Well, Big Wings had too much power. They're all over early. They've got penalties.
Okay, this is the
they
umpires.
all need
Japan,
to get
New
behind.
Zealand, USA, GBR, Australia, Spain, all
Wow.
over the line early. Target boat, get behind Denmark, get behind Denmark, please.
So a rash of penalties dished down at the very start as they make their way to mark number 1.
Where's Denmark? So you've got to look for Denmark there, doing 48 kilometers an hour, right of picture. They're effectively the lead boat right now. Everybody with a P above them has got to get behind Denmark.
And France is clear. Well, they've all got new wings. I think they might need to look into new watches for the next race because that was unbelievable timing on the boat. Sehested, this is great news though. He finished yesterday with a 2nd place, put himself in the picture, and he needs a good wing. Oh, that's clever from Burling. Can he slot in there? Still got the penalty. Needs the French to pass him here. His penalty's cleared off. Here we go. They're into the race. Who will jibe away first? It's Outeridge. He splits the course. First to jibe. He's got a good opportunity to gain as we're on board with Sehested. Nice jibe from Denmark. That was a good recovery by Burling and Outeridge there at the bottom of the line, over the line, but they've come out of that in 2nd and 3rd position with some canny work.
Was that a case, guys, if they just did not anticipate the speed they were going to get off that 29-meter wing? To
Spain, you have OCS penalty still outstanding. You need to go behind GBR. Need to go behind GBR.
Todd, coming back to your question, that's exactly what happened with about 30 seconds to go to the start. The breeze built just a couple of kilometres an hour.
You didn't clear your penalty. You didn't clear your penalty until you got to the first
conversation
mark,
going on here between Phil Robertson on board, the Spanish and the umpire. Anyway, yes, just got caught out by 2 kilometres an hour, no more wind. Everyone was too close to the line.
USA, you need to go behind France. Need to go behind France.
Of course, like herding cats for Craig Mitchell out there today, trying to get the boats back in formation.
They are, but look at that gate 2, and Sehested has done a nice job here, as has Peter Burling on board New Zealand.
Penalty clear.
It's taken a long time there, but that's just music to the ear of Peter Burling in the New Zealand boat. Nikolai Sehested on board Denmark, because that's a big lead this early in the race. And Outeridge in 4th place overall, and the Spanish falling back with a penalty. That could have huge consequences for the overall results today.
Look at New Zealand. They dropped both holes into the water as they reached that 2nd gate. So they've got to get that back up to speed with that 29-meter wing, and it's Denmark that has the lead. Japan's probably going to move up on this.
Top of screen there. Here we go. It's tight at the bottom with the French. I think there's going to be a feature today, Todd. These big wings, Carl Langford mentioned it, they're heavy. The tacks are really hard. The crews are struggling to foil through. But look here, the French trying to dive inside Ainsley as they come into the gate. GBR must keep clear, must give Besson room. Ainsley squeezing him here. Wow, there's surely a protest. Surely a protest there on the squeeze. Besson, did he have room? Let's hear what Craig Mitchell has to say, I would imagine. Oh, on board the French. Wow, for me, that was a big squeeze from Ainsley. Not sure if he gave him room there. Not surprised to hear a protest from the French.
And going around the other leeward gate here is France and our overnight leader, the USA, and they have gone to the favoured gate. The gate they have gone round is closer up to gate 3, so effectively they're already sailing a shorter distance than GBR and France. USA are going to come back with a good spot, having gone round 3 places behind those 2 boats. They could jump up the ladder instantly.
Okay, I can get you popping now.
There we go. That's Paul Campbell James there, talking to Jimmy Spittle and talking about building speed here. Listening for 30 kilometres an hour.
That's not there. It's not there. Next one.
Doesn't think he can make the speed. Let's not try and get on the foils. We'll stay on one hull, like the Danish boat is at the moment. They're on one hull. They're not trying to go too fast. They're trying to sail a shorter distance. That's your option, always. Faster. Oh, they're up on the foil. Now they're building speed, and now they'll start to build away into more wind.
So Denmark SailGP, presented by Rockwell, has the lead right now because of the penalties that were dished out on the first leg.
Oh, jib sheet snapped. Jib sheet snapped on board the Danish boat. You can see the sail flapping. That's probably about 15 to 20% of their overall power.
Oh, Fred, that flappy sail is not a happy sail, and that Danish crew, they were winning the race, they were getting themselves back into the event. Disaster for the Danish crew.
And this is a new jib on board, as well as a new wing. We have a much bigger jib to go on board. And you can, I quite like how chilled out Searstead is. He's just like, that didn't last long.
Is there any opportunity to repair that as they go?
No, if the rope is broken, then the rope is broken. You can't tie a knot in it and sheet the sail back on because it wouldn't go through the turning blocks. So they're going to be sailing around with a flappy sail. Got a big lead.
Yeah, big lead, but Japan will be chasing that down. Interesting, Nikolai Seherstedt, round the world yachtsman, had a lot of these sort of situations. He's going to be calm in this position here, I'd say.
Japan sits in second place right now, New Zealand in third, and then you see the rest of the fleet really back there with France more than 300 meters behind. The USA, the leaders coming into race number 4, are currently sitting in sixth place more than 450 meters back of Denmark. But as we said, Denmark having some issues on board. You know, if they had a superstar grinder like Freddie Carr, they might be able to MacGyver that thing. But as it stands right now, they've got 3 legs to get through this.
They're going to struggle to hang on here, Todd, in these light winds. I think when they next tack, they're going to really find it hard to build speed to get on the foil. We can see the Spanish, USA, they're at the back of the pack fighting it out on the screen there, and Nathan Outridge, who was 4th before today, he's going to be moving up that leaderboard and really threatening the top. He's on starboard tack. Denmark must stay clear.
You hear Nikolai Seherstedt trying to settle a crew. He said, guys, let's stop freaking out. Let's just do what we can do here. So with a 76 meter, now down to 70, 67, and it's dropping quickly. Japan closing in on Denmark, and this would be huge for Nathan Outridge of Japan if they could get the win here.
We know how Nathan loves to use the rules, so he won't be shy of a protest if it's on, but I think Denmark were clear ahead. Brilliant work by Seherstedt. That's good. Don't ever look at the jib, sail normal. That was the voice of Tom Johnson trying to keep Nikolai sailing. He's struggling to make this mark here. I don't know if he's going to make a right turn. If he doesn't, it would be disastrous. Expect Outridge to blast over the top.
You can see there, although Seherstedt is sailing a high mode, they have lost about 10 kilometers an hour of boat speed because of that jib.
And look at the speed that New Zealand's coming in, close to 40 kilometers an hour, and Seherstedt down to 20.
It's going to be tricky here for Outridge. Denmark has the Nathan Outridge. What do we do here?
Look at the difference between Japan and Denmark on the left. Look at that jib.
Oh, there goes Outridge. He's trying to thread the needle. Not the best jibe from Nathan Outridge. He was forced into that decision. He didn't want to get stuck with the Danish. Look at that Danish jib just flapping in the breeze. But Outridge, that was maybe the wrong call. He's jibed back. He's at 15 kilometers an hour, and he's in the disturbed wind of the Kiwis. Expect a gain for New Zealand, and even Denmark could hang on here with Japan. That's a mistake for Outridge.
And another maneuver coming the way for the Japanese, so they may lose that first place position as Denmark sits in first. Guys, this is when it broke. Watch this. Pop.
Well, that's just such a shame to see for that Danish crew. Obviously trying to save weight with the diameters of the rope they use. Here we go, on board with Great Britain, and we can see Ben Ainsley, he's got a lot of work to do here. He's trying to come back up through the fleet, and that's the wing trim there. You see the back of that wing sail moving all the time. Ian Jensen moving the wing sail all the time there. As we see now, Japan finally up at over 40 kilometers an hour, but how much distance has that cost him? Quite a lot, I would imagine. And Ben Ainsley, well, he's up to 4th at the moment, and he's chasing down Nathan Outridge. Look at Nathan's eyes. He's looking around in this light wind. You're trying to find the breeze. Nathan's, of course, renowned for that. He's renowned for his wind spotting ability.
20 seconds. We're going pretty soon here, Chris.
But I'm sure he's brewing that decision at the last turning gate.
2, 1, going forward.
That was very interesting. Let's look at as they step downwind for the last time. We've seen Japan giving up the lead versus New Zealand. That's because New Zealand stepped on from the top gate and jibed in more wind, where the Japanese jibed in a little bit of a hole and had to come back upwind to reattach and get foiling.
As we take a look at the Americans, guys, they split the course. Have they done themselves proper here? Because they're the only ones at the bottom right now. Is this the right call? And can Jimmy Spittle and company make up some time? Because they're in dead last.
I think if you're at the back, Todd, you've got to take a bit of a risk. They've come all the way to this side of the course. You can see how separated from the other boats they are. What that does is it gives them a chance to find more wind, maybe. It's not definitely a good decision, but it's the only way they can give themselves an opportunity. Whereas if you're the Kiwis, like on screen here now, Peter Burling, he's trying to stay near the pack, and control where they move. Why? Well, because he's in the lead. He's controlling the decisions. He can make the first choice. Everyone else has to deal with him.
So this is leg 4 of 6 on race number 4. One more fleet race to go, and then it'll be the top 3 battling out in the final race of the day. So it's down here to the next gate, then upwind, and then it's a short blast to the finish line. And the Kiwis and Peter Burling have control of this race, with Japan in second. Great Britain has moved up into third, and Denmark still in the fight now in fourth.
That's the Kiwi boat. Alex Maloney there on the flight controller there. He's making the boat spin up. He said definite displacement. They had to touch the boat down because they couldn't quite get round that mark in time. And
you want to take off this way? Yep, here we take off. Okay, here we go.
it's the voice of Peter Burling there saying, can we build up? I think they've come off the foil they've lost, but I think they've sailed less distance. Outeridge, well, he's attacking them. He's turned right, looking for opportunity, as is Ben Ainsley. What a move by Ainsley under pressure. Got himself back up and into this race.
And some breaking news, they're going to shorten the course, so it will end on this next leg of the next gate. It will be the finish line, so New Zealand, great news for them. Denmark now into second place with a broken jib, and Japan into third.
And with New Zealand winning this race, it would push them up onto 25 points for the overalls here in France. Japan with their currently in third, that would put them into second, and the USA right now would fall from first overnight into third. Super close between the top 6. It would also discount France and USA from getting into the final if it finished where we are.
And France, as they continue to sit in 5th place, the USA has gone now from 8th place to 4th, so Jimmy Spithill doing a fantastic job of salvaging points possibly here on this final leg of race number 4.
That was the voice of Andy Maloney, the flight controller on New Zealand. They're counting the numbers up. He's talking about the boat speed. You need to be over 30 kilometres an hour to foil, and we can see here, New Zealand on starboard tack. The gain line's closing down. They should retake the lead over Japan here, but it's tight. Japan will have to keep clear if it's close.
Japan now in the lead, New Zealand and Denmark. The race will end as they pass through this next gate. So they are on leg 5 of 5 on a shortened race. The wind now just holding steady at just over 16 kilometers an hour. The Americans came into race number 4 as the overall leaders in this regatta, but right now they are back in 5th place trying to salvage points. They need another big finish in race number 5.
Todd, how good a job are Denmark doing at the moment of hanging in this race. They're still there in 4th place at the minute, and they've only got one sail. They've got the big wing, but no jib sail. The Kiwis, they're stretching away here. They're in space. And look at this data here. The boat speed. Japan seems to be going a little bit quicker at the moment, but the Kiwis are fractionally better with their fly time, and that could prove to be crucial, although at the moment, Denmark, they've parked up out of that tack. They've misjudged the turn, and without that jib to help them turn, that's really killing them. Oh, it's a disaster.
They're trying to fix it now. You can see a guy on the bowsprit there trying to fix it, trying to just squeeze a little bit of power out the jib, but
the Americans, look at the Americans are sitting as well.
The Americans are struggling in under this Saint-Tropez shoreline, and look, right-hand side of screen, New Zealand, they're still in the lead, but this is really, really close with Japan. We've seen this battle in the London Olympics, we've seen this battle in the Rio Olympics. Burling against Outeridge is one of the great stories of international sailing, world-class sailing, and at the moment, it looks like Japan and Nathan Outeridge could have popped himself ahead of Japan, as if it's close. Nathan Outeridge is on starboard tack, and he has the right of way.
And here comes Ben Ainsley in Great Britain in 3rd place, so they have moved up 2 positions. So it's New Zealand, Japan, and Great Britain fighting for the finish line as they come down to this last gate. It'll be the finish, and Nathan Outeridge, Japan, closing the gap with the right of way, and it forces New Zealand to have to dip behind, and Great Britain also going to factor into this.
Oh, it's hard to see the course from here, Todd, but my guess is they've both got one more tack to do, and it will come down to who can execute that the best. But in the background, Ben Ainsley and the British, they seem to be sailing that boat fast. On board with the New Zealand boat. There's the finish line there to the right of screen. Looks like a big gain to Nathan Outeridge at the moment, but it will come down to the quality of this tack. Outeridge tacks on board Great Britain. Under 30 kilometres an hour, no one foiling yet. Kiwis are foiling. How good a tack can New Zealand do? That's Chris Draper telling Outeridge to press, build speed. Get us foiling, Nathan.
Winding up here. Is it at the finish line or? It's the finish when we're there.
Look at this. New Zealand. Look at this tact as they come in, and it's the race for the finish line. Japan has a slight lead and starting to grow as Nathan Outridge has somehow found some pressure in race 4, and the Japanese will take the win on the French Riviera. Great Britain's going to try to edge out Pete Burling and the Kiwis, but it will be the Kiwis and Burling that get second place, forcing Great Britain into third.
What a race that was. That was Ian Jensen and Ben Ainsley discussing whether or not they won the race, but without doubt, great last beat there from Nathan Outridge.
France will come into the finish line in 4th place. Spithill, this will be huge if he can hold on to 5th, and right now he's being covered by both the Danes and the Spanish as Phil Robertson now makes this maneuver, and he's got the full ley line right there on his left-hand side, straight in shot now to the finish.
That means he should be lined up well to it here. Ainsley, look, everyone's looking around.
Kiwis and the Japanese are the two that we were racing with. Yeah.
Oh, this is just... Look at this, Slingsby's even into the mix now. So now it's a race for Australia and Spain. Remember, every point counts, and the Americans are going to miss out on this. The best they're going to do is 7th. As Slingsby comes in, he will take 5th.
That's really going to have tightened up the overall. Robertson, that's not good news for Robertson, a 6th. He'd sailed so well, but just dropped back a little bit at the end there. But bigger news is Jimmy Spithill. Well, he's dropped out the back, and he's really going to have burnt that overnight lead he had here. He's still going to be right in the mix, but that's really going to hurt him.
So now for the Americans, it's a 5th in race number 1. Then they win races 2 and 3. They come back in race number 4 with a disappointing 7th.
Easiest race win ever. Fucking breaks.
Denmark now with their issues. Does it look like they've got that secured, Freddie? It looks like they may have rigged that just to get to the finish.
Yeah, I mean, they've gone from 1st to 8th. You feel for those lads. Yep. And what they're trying to do now is actually get ahead of the curve for race number 2. You know, they've written this race off, and they've already started working on the boat for race number 2. Gutted for those guys, sailing really well. They responded well to the break, talked about sailing the boat, but as soon as you lose about 20% of your engine, there's only one way you're going to go in the fleet.
So their shore crew will come ashore, and they will come on board, I should say, and try to fix that, make a repair to get them back out, because in less than 15 minutes, it is the all-important race number 5.
All right, thank you, Lisa. We'll get set now as we come up on 90 seconds to go before the start of the race. First, we've got Spain. Emily, they are talented indeed.
Yeah, we've got a really young, talented team. We've got the same lineup as we did in LA. That's Diego, Yol, Florian, Nicole, Young, and Bernardo. So a really strong team, all young and super enthusiastic.
And how about the Aussies, Stevie?
Well, I think if you've watched SailGP, you know the crew on this boat. This is probably, you know, one of the most well-known and experienced crews on the boat. I think big pressure on Tash Bryant to have her head out of the boat, and big pressure on the wing trimmer, Carl Langford. I mean, Blair didn't allude to it, but I think that how well you trim the wing through these changeable conditions is also a hard job today.
And of course, Emirates GBR looking for that big win here, Stevie. They have got so much experience, so much talent on this boat. You got to think eventually it's all going to click and they're going to just drive away.
Yeah, they're definitely sailing a lot better here today, and I think, again, Hannah Mills at the back of the boat. I can't help thinking those strategists have got a big job on to help the drivers see where the breeze is as we see 40 seconds to go and they're already in position. Ainsley talking about, did he want to be down the line nearer the bottom of our screen or up the line where you're going to have a faster angle? At the moment, Ainsley has a pretty good controlling position on Emirates Great Britain. That's a lot of water on the boat there with 27 seconds to go. He's defending against the ruse. Slingsby pushing. Emirates Great Britain defending, and it's going to be Spain with the clear runner. Australia very aggressive from Slingsby here. He's going to look to park the British boat. As soon as those boats overlap, if they do, the British will have to keep clear. It's really, really tight. Has Ainsley timed it right? The Australians can't hook them. Ainsley looks early back to the line here. It's aggressive match racing. Watch for the line to turn white. Oh, that was so tight on the gun, and the Spanish are late. The Spanish late at the top of the line will have a faster angle. Looks like a clear start, and Slingsby's aggression's paid for him. The British are going to struggle to get over the top from here at Mark 1. It should be the Ruse in first place.
Well, they couldn't get the hook in, but at mark number 1, it is Australia that has the whole shot position. What a maneuver by Tom Slingsby as he pushes the Brits to the outside. Here comes Spain back in the mix.
Yeah, nice little move from the Australians there. He turned the British up a bit closer to the wind. That's brought the Spanish back into the race, but first decision goes to Great Britain. They spin away. He thinks he's seen win first. Spain try to follow. Everyone moving very quickly, trying to react to the changeable wind conditions.
Hold. Let speed come.
Currently seeing the highest speeds of any race so far this weekend. GBR doing over 60 kilometers an hour downwind here. Spanish closing the gap now from behind 65s. It's going to be a tight race.
I don't know about how many manoeuvres can they do into the gate. Australia look pretty well set for a left turn, but if Great Britain can make it down, they'll have the right of way on the inside. It's going to get really tight at the bottom. When Great Britain turn, Australia have got to watch out because the British will have the right of way.
And they got to watch out for those super yachts. The fans look how close they are to gate number 2. Prime viewing condition, and it looks like Australia at gate 2 is going to opt for the left side of the course, and Great Britain at the last second decides to follow with Spain sitting at 3rd.
That's great news for the Australians. They'll be so happy to see the boats follow round behind them. They're going to be faster because they had to do no manoeuvres. Great Britain had to do 2 manoeuvres late on, and look at that, Spain are off the foils. And we see on our ladder lines here, things are already extending away. And if we can get down the water to Lisa and Blair and see whether they like the side of the course that Australia are going to.
Put pressure out of this. Yeah.
Well, Wright has been working all day, but I think Australia's going to be pretty happy where they are. They can basically stay between the mark and the other boats. Blair, would you be pretty happy for Australia right now?
Yeah, that was a pretty strong start. They executed that first leg really well and going the right way, and they've got them covered right now, so it's going to be a tough road back, for, especially for the Spanish from here, but I think even for GBR, Aussie have really got a hold on this one.
The British boat were looking really strong, but they had a big wobble on that downwind, and that almost cost them the race.
Yeah, that really did. They pushed a little bit too hard there. I think they did the right thing driving before Australia, but yeah, I think Parker might have pushed a little bit hard there, but yeah, it's going to be a tough road back for them.
Tough road back, but I remember the grand final last year saying that the New Zealand boat was out of it and they got to back within 5 metres, so I think there's plenty of race left here. As we come up towards the Saint-Tropez shoreline, Tom Slingsby said how nervous he was of that gate 3 where there's less wind, it's gusty, it's shifty. That's where the opportunities are going to come. Of course, you'd rather be in first place right now, and we can see already Australia in a match race just trying to stay between himself and the other boats.
And all of these manoeuvres are crucial. Right now, Australia are the fastest boat by 2 kilometers an hour, but it's that foiling percentage that is critical. So far, in all of the manoeuvres, the Aussies have kept up on the foils the most, they've accelerated the quickest out of it, and right now sailing almost straight up the ladder line.
It shows how shifty the wind is, Emily, doesn't it? They just managed to almost sail straight up the course. The wind's turned back and they faced away, but expect a manoeuvre from Australia soon as they're on that yellow line, the ley line. That's the line that says they'll make it to the next gate with no more manoeuvres. If they can stay on the foils for the next 30 seconds in and out of this gate, I think they'll be well set. We're halfway through the race, but this is probably the pinch moment in the race.
Guys, let's just focus here. Yeah.
Look at Great Britain. They are making gains here as they pick up the speed much cleaner now. They're going to both head to the same side of the course.
It looks like it at the moment, and there you go. They've done a great job of this all day, Great Britain, minimising distance. We can see there the extra distance that the Australians have sailed. They've done that to guarantee safety, but what they've also done is lose a lot of lead to the British. They still have control, but it's now a pure match race between first and second, as I think the Spanish have got a lot to do now.
Yeah, stand by.
So what was nearly a 200-meter lead is now shrunk down to about 100 as Emirates GBR has closed the gap. Just 3 seconds behind at the last gate, but they decide to turn away first.
Yeah, they moved away first, but we could see there was a real dark patch of water right next to the Australian boat. I think the Australians have done a nice job of staying in good breeze, and there we go. We heard Carl Langford sailing into really good pressure. Look how high they are out of the water, and they look well lined up to gate 2. Great comms from Carl Langford there. He's talking about the wind dropping as they come down towards this next gate. So the crucial thing now is, can they get through gate 4 with no more manoeuvres or not? And here we go. We heard Tom Slingsby. We're going to go right. There's going to be one more manoeuvre from Australia here. They're going to turn the boat and head out to a right turn. Looks like they've made a gain though at this point.
Okay, hold that, Tash, hold that. Holding. And they're coming up. Coming up.
Cash Bryant steering really accuracy out of the jibe there, and once again Australia, he's happy to sail a little bit of extra distance to set himself up well for the next leg, but they're high. They got a little bit too high there. They skidded sideways. Good save by Jason Waterhouse. Australians are fast, but I think we've got a split.
It's one of the things we've seen over this weekend. All of the flight controllers are really pushing that right high. Yesterday, the French led the way with the highest boat. Today, it's the Australians.
Go, we've got a split, Todd. Lisa, Blair, what can you see on the water? Is this a game for Great Britain, or have Australia called it right?
Yeah, we're good, different angles.
Australia are looking pretty strong from my eyes. Blair, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think Great Britain did well to get the split at the bottom. That's what you want. But yeah, to me, the Aussies are in net pressure nicely. They're coming across to the right-hand side of the racetrack, looking up, and I think you'll see a tack in 10 seconds or something, and they'll have them pretty well covered.
We're going to be slow here. Stand by. Get the build on.
Tight moment there, as we can see the wind has turned to favour the British. It is tight, but this is the moment Blair was talking about. Will the Australians be able to block the breeze of the British? Australia turn. Great Britain's foiling faster than the Australians. Can they come alongside? If they can get overlapped alongside, the Australians are going to have to keep clear. Here we go, Australia have got to get out of the way. Crucial moment here. It's going to be a protest from Ainsley. Look at him. Oh, there's no drama with the acting skills there from Ainsley. What a moment. Brilliant move. He's got the wind blocked.
Side-by-side drag race as Ainsley calls it, and here comes the penalty.
There was the penalty, but it's instantly scratched as the British take the lead. But crucially, we've got now one more manoeuvre for the British. Look at Ainsley, points out the breeze. It's all about this next manoeuvre.
Australia turns, here we go. So it is all on here in the penultimate leg. It is this leg and then a right-hand turn to the finish line, and the championship will be decided. Great Britain in the final leg as they approach this upwind, puts on the afterburners and gets past Australia.
What a move.
And critically there, in their final manoeuvre, they did stay up on the foils. The Aussies dropped off and lost a little more distance.
Well, we said the pressure was on, but if they can make this final right turn, it's going to be theirs. They've got a nice lead. Pressure's on, Todd, but they've delivered.
Absolutely stood and delivered at the most critical time as Sir Ben Ainsley, Hannah Mills, the rest of the crew delivered a masterful performance just when you thought they were out. Emirates GBR comes sailing back and they pass the Flying Roos. Give the win to Emirates GBR in Saint-Tropez.
Turns out they've still got it, Todd.
Yep. Awesome work.
Oh, there you go. Ben Ainsley
saving the best for last, Stevie, out of nowhere. And you saw the angle that they had coming up just after we heard reports that right side was more favorable. It looked like Australia had played the cards right. And out of nowhere, I think they even caught Tom Slingsby by surprise.
Well, they certainly caught Lisa and Blair by surprise, because that all changed so quickly out there on the water. And as Blair said, what was really good was that the Emirates Great Britain managed to get the split. They managed to get sailing a different direction. We're going to go left while they go right. And that was crucial. It gave them the opportunity. And they made the most of it.
Spain will come in, finishing in third, and I don't want to say they were doomed from the get-go, Stevie, but you called that they were late to the start, and when you're racing against Ben Ainsley and Tom Slingsby, you cannot spot them anything, and that's exactly what they did. So Diego Botín did a great job of staying in the mix, just didn't have the power. But Ben Ainsley, as we approach that fifth leg, they are halfway up, nowhere near the Australians, the lead almost 200 meters, and then Ben Ainsley puts on the nitrous, and they go into full afterburner mode as they take the win here. It is Emirates GBR. They win the France Sail Grand Prix in Saint-Tropez.
Turn off, huh? All right, Jibe. What do you want us to do?